guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. We have Shyla right here. You can only see her eyes, but hey, that's good enough. This video is going to be interesting. This happened a long time ago. It took place when I was around, God, I don't know, 14 probably. It was around that time, so I wasn't super young. Hey, I wasn't super young, but I also wasn't like super old. I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory. My dad lives in Washington. I'm not in Washington anymore, but this took place in the house he still lives at. He's lived there for like, I don't know, 10 years now at this point. Yeah, I moved in there when I was 11, so I'm 21 now. He's been there for 10 years. And we had been living there for around 3 years or so. And I used to ride the bus, and I had a neighbor. And the way it was set up, okay, so the way our house was set up is we lived on 69 acres. And there was 2 neighbors that were actually near us. This girl did not live in either of those houses. Just trying to explain it to you. So we shared a driveway. So you go through the driveway and then you take a turn and go all the way up to our house. And then our house was like at the top here, and then behind the house is where all the woods were and all of our acres. And it was on a hill somewhat, and then you get to the top and it was more flat and then kind of down. So this girl lived like way back there, so she could just walk through the woods and be at our house. I did not know that at first because I never had done that before, and it was, I mean, it was quite a ways to walk. I didn't know, and I think there was a fence down there. I don't really know how it worked. I didn't go down there all the time, but I used to ride my Kubota up there a little bit. It was kind of creepy, not gonna lie, kind of creepy. Had some weird shit happen up there. This girl was a twin, actually. She had a brother. I can't remember her name, to be quite honest with you. I do remember her brother's name. I'm not gonna say it though. I also am almost 100% sure they were only a year younger than me. I'm not gonna go like too much into their background, but they didn't live with their parents. They lived with other people. That's all I'm gonna say. The people they lived with were extremely strict. They were a certain religion. I really don't remember what they were. I just know that she had to wear certain types of clothing. I don't wanna get too into that. I don't want people to be like, oh my God. I'm just trying to give you a background because it does kind of have to do with what happens in the story. So they always had to wear skirts. I think that's called like menopostral or menocostal, I think. I could be wrong, I don't know. But she always had to wear a skirt, which I, you know, whatever. She didn't like that though. So I became really good friends with her, and her brother was cool. I mean, whatever, like I had nothing against him at all, and she was fine. They were very hyper, very, very hyper. Like I've never met people so hyper in my life, like just so hyper. And I wasn't super hyper. I mean, I was hyper, but I wasn't like off the wall hyper, but I liked them, you know, they were cool. We had to ride the bus. My bus ride was super long, and their drop off was right after mine, or maybe a couple stops after mine. So we would just be on the bus for like an hour and just talk. She was not allowed to do anything that has to do with how she was being raised and stuff. They were not allowed to do absolutely anything. Like she could not go to friends' houses. She couldn't wear makeup. She couldn't she couldn't even, they wouldn't let her cut her hair. Her hair was down past her butt. And I don't know if that has to do with the religion. I do remember her talking about that. And I was like, oh wow, that's strange. Because I would hate that. I mean, I didn't like cutting my hair at the time anyways. I was trying to grow it out, but honey, I'm making a video. I'm rubbing you at the same time. My dog is so needy. She's like, can you please rub me? She's just staring at me. Fast forward a little bit, she would complain about where she lives. I had seen her house. I knew which house she lived in because I could choose to not get off at my stop, and because they had to do a turnaround, so I could wait on there if I wanted, which I rarely ever did because why would I? But if I wanted to, I could, and then I would get dropped off anyways because I had to go that way anyways. So one day, I can't remember how this exactly happened in the beginning, and I know my parents won't know this either because I did not tell them, but I don't remember. I think she had been on the bus, and she had maybe like wanted to come over for a day, but I don't think she had been allowed to or something, and I had wanted her to come over. I mean, we were friends. All I know is that somehow she ended up at my house. I don't know how. Sorry, it's a long time ago. I really don't know. There's also another little story I'm gonna throw in here. I don't know if this happened before this. I'm really not sure, but all I know is that she ended up coming over to my house, and the house was a pretty big house, and I had the whole bottom floor to myself, which I hated because it was creepy as hell down there, like scary. I hated it down there. It was freaky. It's like dropped 10 degrees when you went out there because my parents, or my dad, would never turn the heater on. Very annoying, but whatever. So this was at a point in my life where my parents were no longer together. They weren't divorced, I don't think yet at this point, but they were separated. So my mom was living somewhere else pretty far away, and my dad was here. And so I would go back and forth, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't just stay at my dad's. She was over, I mean, I really thought it was fun at first. She was spending the night. The thing is that her parents had no idea where she was, and neither did her brother. And I didn't say anything because, yeah, stupid Brandy, I know this, but I thought I was doing her a favor, okay? I was like, okay, I'm helping her. She'll go back eventually. Like she's trying to get away for a couple days. That was what I thought. She's like, I'm just gonna stay for a couple days if that's okay. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I figured, what's the worst that could happen? She was over, we were downstairs. My dad had absolutely no idea she was there. I would bring her food down to whatever. And she would just, I had a little tablet that I let her play with too. And she'd just play on that. And we just hang out, you know, sleep in my bed, whatever. And it was fun. I felt like I was just having a sleepover. It was probably like on a Friday. This went on for at least a week, around a week. And oh my God, this is where it starts getting a little weird. So I had to leave and I was like, okay, so you need to go back home because I have to go to my mom's house and you need to go back home. I remember her begging me and crying, you guys, like crying to me about, can I please just stay? I promise I won't do anything. Like, I just want to stay here. I'm like, I won't be here. It's just gonna be my dad. But I have never been very good at confrontation or telling people no. It is a problem. I've gotten a little bit better at it, and I don't really give a shit now. Like I will tell you no, whatever, my way or the highway, whatever. I just felt bad, and so eventually I was like, oh God, okay, you can stay here for a little bit. I'll be back in a couple days. I was only gonna be gone for a couple days, whatever. God, stupid. I know, so stupid. So she was there. And nothing happened. I came back. The only annoying thing was I remember there was a bunch of dishes in my room and I was like, oh my God. Because when my dad was gone, she would go up and like grab stuff out of the kitchen and then come back down. But she never brought it back up because he would notice, you know, he'd be like, where the fuck did these dishes come from? My daughter's not even here. So my room kind of started smelling. I do remember that. I was like, ew. And then Shyla, I'm telling a story. She just laid in bed and did really nothing. Okay, my dog is being so fucking needy right now. So fast forward again a couple days. So I'm back going to school. She was not going to school, so she would be there while I was at school, just hanging out. I don't really know what was going on with her parents. I just remember her brother was like, do you know where my sister is? And I'm like, no, I don't. I try to make it very not obvious. Like, what do you mean? Where's your sister? I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't freaking out and I was still young. I wasn't thinking, what could possibly happen? You know, I wasn't thinking that. That was not clicking in my head. Just Brandy said that wasn't clicking. Then it had been about a week and I had to go back to my mom's and I had to talk with her and I was like, okay, you cannot stay here any longer. People are going, like they're wondering where you are. You need to leave my house. You need to leave my house. I don't even know if I told any of my friends this was going on at the time. I was like, you need to leave. So I finally convinced her that she needed to leave. Like I literally remember watching her leave my back door and go. I remember this clearly. And then I remember telling my dad that he needs to make sure he locks the doors while I'm gone. My dad had a very bad habit of leaving the doors unlocked all the time. This ties in with the story. Thanks, Dad. So I was like, can you make sure you lock the doors? Like, can you just make sure? And he's like, oh, sure. I'm like, oh God, whatever. Because I was gonna be gone for a couple days to be with my mother. I leave and I'd watched her leave. Like I watched her walk out the back door. And like I said, she just walked through the woods. Like I figured, okay, I don't know where she's gonna go, but I'm guessing she's just gonna finally go back home. You know, she's been gone for a week. Probably not gonna be very happy with her, be like, where the hell were you? But hopefully she won't say anything. You know, I'm young, so it's not really my fault. My dad had no idea what was going on at all. And I thought everything is fine, okay? Everything's good, whatever. She took her stuff. My stuff was still there. It's all good, okay? It's all good. You guys, I get back there a couple days later. And this is where it's a little fuzzy for me. When I got there, I go to my room. She wasn't there at this point, you guys. I noticed the doors were unlocked. The back door was unlocked and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Because I told my dad, lock the doors. And I realized that, you know, I was gone for a couple days. He did not lock the doors. I go down to my room. My tablet that I let her play with, gone. Over $200. And remember, Sephora makeup is expensive. So it's easy to get $200 worth of makeup. I mean, you go look at their website. It's not that much. But I had a little vanity that had a bunch of makeup in it. I had more makeup back then than I do now. I don't even really wear makeup right now. Like I have lip stuff on in my eyeshadow, or not eyeshadow, my mascara and my eyebrows. That's it. But over $200 worth of my makeup was missing. She also took a couple clothing items because, like I said, she didn't like wearing skirts. While she was there, she didn't wear her skirt, which, you know, I'm not gonna, why do I care? You know, do whatever you want. But she was wearing some of my clothes. And at that moment, I was like, okay, is this girl trying to be me? Like, this is freaking me out. I know she wasn't, but it was just so bizarre. And so I was like, what the hell? And I started feeling freaked the freak out. My stuff is gone, tablet's gone. What do I do? Do I tell my mom? Obviously I'm gonna tell my mom, but what? That's why I'm confused if the cops had been called at this point or not. This is what happened after this. I never saw that girl again in my life, but I did end up going to her house with my mom, because remember, they lived very close. And because my mom was able to get into contact with their mom and was like, okay, your daughter took a bunch of my daughter's stuff. We didn't even know she was there anymore. She was told to leave and she broke back in or walked back in through the house and came and got stuff. I had never been to their house before, like I said. And we went back over there and they had my stuff. I got my clothes, I got my makeup, and I got my tablet, and I was happy. It was a very stressful time. I never saw her after that. Her brother still rode the bus. He said that she got sent to a mental facility because, I mean, I don't really know. She was a little wacko. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but there was something not right up there. Like, it was just a little scary, but he said she did so much better, so I think it was a very good thing for her to go somewhere, and that she eventually got way better. And I never saw her after that, though. Like, they did not put her back in that school ever. She just, like, was gone. It was so bizarre. I think she also eventually got homeschooled, I think, after the mental thing. I'm not really sure about that part. That's why I said it's a little fuzzy. That's kind of all that happened. It was just weird. Just imagine someone being in your house, you trying to do them a favor, and then it turning into, can you please leave my house? And they're not willing to leave your house. It's not even my house. It's my parents' house. So it's not like I can call the cops when I feel like I'm doing something wrong, which I mean I was. I shouldn't have had her in there. I remember my dad being so mad at me because he's like,
I could have gotten in trouble for that, having an underage girl in my house.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you another tiny little story. This is gonna be very fast. This was at my dad's house again, and I hated living there, not gonna lie. It was so scary because it was out in the woods. And I remember being home alone at one time, just during the day, and our front door, we never used our front door. We always came in from the side door, the doorbell was ringing and knocking. And I was like, what the hell? And we had no blinds in these huge windows in our living room. And I don't think I'd even been in the living room. I feel like I've been walking, I wish I could show you, but I've been like walking through this one area where I couldn't see the front door. Like the front door, I couldn't even see through it, okay? It's just, you know, can't see through it. I just started panicking. I was like, what the hell? So that's what I did when I was little. I would never answer the door. I was like, I'm not answering the door. I'm over my dead body. I'm not answering the door. Who the hell is at the door? I'm alone. I'm 13 or however old, 14. What the hell? So I ran to my dad's room, called him, and was telling him what was going on, like crying. And I was like, someone's at the door. I mean, the ringing and the knocking did not stop for like 10 minutes. And it wasn't stopping. And you guys, I started hearing a knocking on my parents' windows. Okay, we're on the deck, by the way. The front door, the person that came up there was on the deck, knocking on the front door, and then walked on the deck, was knocking on the windows of the room, of their bedroom. And I was like, okay, what is happening? And so my dad was like, okay, grab the rifle. So I had the rifle. He's like, this is how you use it if you have to use it. And I'm like, oh, and I'm crying, screaming like I can't shoot someone. God, you guys, I was like so convinced that someone was trying to break in. I don't know why they'd be knocking on the window. But then after maybe 5 more minutes of sitting in that room, I hear that voice. And I was like, I recognize his voice. You guys, it was that girl. And I was like, oh my God. So I get up and I was like, what the hell? So I am pretty sure that this was before the last story I just told you, because I could remember, I was like, what are you doing here? Like, I was so confused because she had never been there. So I don't know if that's how she got there that started the next story. Like if she came there, I was like, can I stay here for a little? I just can't remember that part. And no one else knows other than her. But you know, I don't know how, I'm not gonna try to contact her now, but you know, it was just weird. That scared the crap out of me. I really, really thought that someone was trying to break in, but it ended up being her. And I was like, I almost was going to shoot you if I would have not seen you. Like if you would have came in or something, I would have shot you. So you think she would have learned not to break into my house after that point? Yeah, that was definitely before it though, because I never saw her again after that last story. So I just don't know if that's what started her in my house. Like if that's what made her like come stay there for a week, you know what I'm saying? I don't remember. But that was a very small story, so I just want to throw it in here because that's not story time worthy of its own. I know the story was kind of all over the place. I tried to remember. I wish I would have made this years ago when my brain was still, you know, remembering all of that stuff. But yeah, so I hope she's doing well. I have, you know, no bad blood against her. I mean, she was young and I was young, and I knew she was having a tough upbringing in her life, so I would hate to have lived like that too with people that just, you know, it was just crappy. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like story times. I will keep making them. Let me know what you'd like to see. I have quite a few video ideas still that are in the process, and I think I just posted my Sephora haul before this one. Go watch it if you'd like, and then go also watch my DoorDash in a day video if you want. And yeah, did I say please subscribe? Please subscribe if you've not already. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Shyla says bye. You can't see her, but she's right here. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.